Hello and welcome. My name is BeBopAnime here, or Tyrone, and welcome to another anime review. Today we're taking a look at Sword Oratoria is around to pick up girls in the dungeon on the side. This is the spin-off series from the first season, and this instead follows Isa Wallenstein and Lafia and some of the exploits of the Loki familiar. And that's generally what you're going to get the gist of from the first couple episodes. And I'll admit that I felt like the first 4 episodes of the series was actually kind of weak. In particular with learning about the new characters as well as kind of the situations, because you're almost getting some playback from the first season as expected. You know, this is almost a perspective type of show where you're just getting another perspective of the first season, but instead it does merit enough to actually be a spin-off series, because there is a lot of events that go untold that Belle's unaware of and that he's not involved in, that the Loki familiar had to take care of during the first season. There's a bit of a weird kind of plot holes, as well as kind of some some things like, for example, towards the end of the series, they basically, after they defeat a creature on the 459, which Belle in the first season mentioned, and they go back down to the 18 floor and they meet up with Belle and whatnot, there's really no mention towards the end of the anime about that fight or what they're doing. It kind of just feels like they all just went home from their expedition, and it was kind of just weird and odd that they didn't mention or even then bring that up. Instead, they kind of just pushed it to the side, and it was just another thing that happened, and it really felt odd. But I'm okay with that, simply because the story was focusing at that point on a lot of some of the stuff that the Loki familiar had to deal with, and it made sense for the story merit. It made sense, but for continuity, it didn't, and it almost was again a plot hole. But removing from that though, if you're expecting what I was expecting, to learn more about Isa Wallenstein, I want you to get that out of your head, because of the fact that you're not gonna get really any more details than what you already know. I'll admit though, her character has grown, because you do see her get actually emotions. You actually see her get flustered as well as happy and whatnot, and even kind of concerned, and that's genuinely what you get to see, and it's actually very good for development for her character. And that I felt like in the first season, her character was almost a doll-like, and you get to see more emotions from her as a character, and that's nice. And it really does add to her character, and adding some more development and a potential, again, romance interest for Belle in the possibly in another season. But moving on from there, Lafia is actually another character that takes a bit of the spotlight as well, seeing her grow as she's one of the mages of the Loki familiar, and she's been trained and put up because she has potential with some of the higher ups of the Loki familiar, some of the top dogs and whatnot. And you're gonna see her grow because her basically herself is as a person and part of the Loki familiar, and as a mage really needs to be reflected, because she feels like she can't handle some of the things and some of the situations that they get into, and she feels like she's holding everyone back. And pretty much you're going to see her grow from that, and grow into a better character and a better person overall. And it's nice to actually see that development happen. I'll admit though, again, the first 4 seasons, the pacing, as well as again where it was trying to have the spotlight, it was kind of just a bit meh. But afterwards, I felt like once things started getting rolling, and actually development for the Loki familiar as a whole, and some of the things and ongoings that were going around Orito, was actually interesting, and it was awesome to see them all developed. Even some of the ones that you just kind of write off as side characters actually got some development, which was nice. But moving on from there though to the animation and sound. The animation and sound, I want to say, for the most part, is beautiful. It is fucking beautiful. I love every side of the action scenes, as well as of the emotions that happens, and just everything all together as it comes in is very good. The intro and outro are very well animated, almost chibi like the first season, so really nothing new there. But the music as well is almost verbatim from the first season, but it all seems a little bit more amped in a way, and I felt like that, especially during towards the end of the anime, once things start to get a little bit more intense within the dungeon and with the Loki familiar. It really ramps it up, more so than I think than the original season, and I'm like, that was kind of hard to beat in the first place, but to see that actually be beaten by these guys, especially within the situation that they get in within the series, made me actually just like kind of take a double take and just like, wow, they actually did ramp up the animation and as well as the sound for everything. Now, I want to say right off the bat, though, that I did already say within my first review that I felt the music was acceptable and was just there and such. But I feel like I want to say that now with the music as it is and how ramped up it is, it feels like it's just much more now, and I actually love to hear it. It's almost on the line of what you heard from, like, for example, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood and some of the soundtracks that were there. It was there in the beginning, but then towards the end, it really ramps up and it really comes into play a lot more frequently and a lot more better, and you just get more excited for the music and for when things start ramping up. And that's the same here. That's the same thing for here, and I'm really glad that the music did come and actually ramp up a lot more. But overall thoughts and verdict, if anything, I want to say that I really did enjoy this towards the later half of the season. The first 4 episodes I felt again were a bit meh, and kind of almost did that perspective loop type of stuff that I was talking about earlier, just a different perspective. And some of the character development and presentation and the introduction to some were just kind of meh. And it could have been done and handled a lot better. And I'm glad though towards the later half of the season we did get a lot more new content, or new stuff and new stories and stuff that the Loki family are told, which was nice, obviously. But the overall verdict now, I want to say that I was really teetering on the 8. Giving the series another 8, but instead I felt that the first 4 episodes, since it is the introduction, is probably the polling point for a lot of people. I want to say that it didn't deserve an 8 because of that reason, and instead I'd give Sword Oratoria Is It Wrong to Pick Girls in a Dungeon a solid 7 out of 10 with the recommendations of first season fans. So the reason why I say the recommendations of first season fans in the first place is because I feel like people the first season that are coming over here to watch it on Prime Video are going to enjoy it, and they're going to like a lot of what I said. But again, I feel like for people that are new, possibly gonna just watch the series and they thought the first one was meh and they moved on to this one, I want to say that it could possibly it has some problems and issues again with the beginning part and some of the plot holes that are happening. But with that said, though, I hope you guys enjoy it and a recommendation for the show. If you haven't watched the first season, go watch the first season. I absolutely love the first season, and the second and the spin-off series is very good, and I'm actually excited to see more of it with the animation and the sound being ramped up enough. I just cannot wait to see more of this and see the Loki familiar be involved with Belle's adventures and possibly see again the romance between Belle and Isa Wallace and grow. But with that said, though, I hope you guys enjoy this review. My name is BeBopAnime here, or Tyrone, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Kinky.